This week on Ebert and Roeper, the best movies of 2005.
And if they're the best movies of 2005, that means they're the best DVDs of 2006.
Deuce Bigalow, the Dukes of Hazzard. They won't be on this show because we're picking the top 10 films of 2005. We'll discuss those movies and then we'll recap our lists at the end of the show. I'm Richard Roeper.
And I'm Roger Ebert, and the number 10 film on my list is the best family film of the year, Millions. Amazingly, it was directed by Danny Boyle of Trainspotting. It tells the story of two young brothers who find a fortune in loot from a bank robbery and debate what to do with it. 7-year-old Damien is advised by his friend, St. Francis of Assisi, to give it to the poor. But his older brother Anthony thinks maybe property management might be the way to go.
I've been thinking, why don't we give the money to her?
So, how did it go?
Well, 1,000! What did you bring 1,000 to school for? Can't see that's suspicious.
It's not suspicious. It's unusual.
Number 9 on my list, Sally Potter's Yes, starring Joan Allen as a rich woman in London who has an affair with a waiter who used to be a surgeon before he fled from Lebanon. Their passion surprises them both. One of the intriguing elements of the film is the dialogue written in the form of Shakespeare's rhythms.
Two is joining, letting go. Attraction and rejection, yes and no. It's not a solo, but a sweet duet that's played to bring us here.
Number 8 on my list, the year's greatest entertainment, King Kong, Peter Jackson's epic remake. It stars Naomi Watts as an unemployed actress who charms Kong and then trusts the gorilla with her life in a film that blends special effects and wonderful art direction into a movie as beautiful as it is thrilling. Manhattan has never looked lovelier than it does here, even while Kong is on the rampage.
Yeah, you're so right. Peter Jackson, I think, now is at the level of James Cameron, where no matter what you think about the end result, each one of his releases is a movie event, really.
Yes, that's
something
right.
special. Okay, it's odd how critics, I think, abandon comedies when they compile their top 10 lists. For example, The 40-Year-Old Virgin was one of the best reviewed films of 2005. It was raunchy, gross, and occasionally tasteless, and yet it was also surprisingly sweet and smart, with a winning romance between Steve Carell and Catherine Keener, and some hilarious scenes of guys being guys.
All right, you ain't got to think on this one. You know? All you got to do is use your instinct. Show me your instincts.
My head, my heart, I follow my heart.
Now I'm gonna show you this one time, all right? Instincts. Show me your instincts. Show me your instincts.
They're right here.
At number 9, I do have James Mangold's rousing Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix giving the performance of his life as country music legend Johnny Cash. I think it's more impressive than Jamie Foxx's Oscar-winning turn in Ray.
I tried to contact her on the telephone. I finally found her about 12 o'clock. She said, now leave me alone to daddy, cause he really wants to rock. Well, she's a rock and roll groovy.
My number 8 film is A History of Violence, the most mainstream film David Cronenberg has ever done. The roughly handsome Viggo Mortensen is perfectly cast as a small-town husband and father who might be a former hitman for the mob.
I know.
And William Hurt makes the extended cameo of the year as a Philadelphia mob boss and Viggo's estranged brother.
You bust up a made man's place. You kill some of his guys. You take his eye. Jesus, Joey, you took his eye. Barbed wire, wasn't it? That's disgusting. You always were the crazy one.
Not anymore.
I liked all 3 of your films. I think you make a very good point about The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which was a charming film. It's not on my list, I confess, but it could be.
Yeah, everybody always talks about how comedy is harder to do than drama, but I think critics kind of shy away from putting comedies on their top 10 list. They have to have all these serious films.
Yeah, and Oscar shies away too.
Exactly.
Number 7 on my list is 9 Lives by Rodrigo Garcia. 9 stories of 9 women told in 9 unbroken shots. The most moving episode stars Robin Wright Penn and Jason Isaacs as former lovers who meet after many years in a supermarket.
I mean, can I call you? It's okay if you don't want me to. I understand. It's okay.
Is it okay? I still have the same number.
Number 6 on my list, Me and You and Everyone We Know, a comedy, Richard. by Miranda July. This is a comedy of daring whimsy, a charmer that includes scenes where July goes after a guy who doesn't know what to make of her, and a little girl named Sylvie does the very same thing with a boy a little older than she is.
What is all that stuff?
When I get married, all of this stuff will belong to my husband and my daughter. Everything I have here will be theirs. All of it. It's my dowry.
July has flawless taste and timing. Her movie has a kind of wide-eyed innocence about romance and sexuality, and her own character survives by insisting the world is all part of her own special poetic vision.
It's a pretty remarkable feat because she's really chronicling the lives of some very unusual, eccentric characters without ever being condescending or mean to them. She celebrates their differences.
Yes, she does.
Okay, Ang Lee's beautiful and heartbreaking Brokeback Mountain is my number 7 pick, and it's so much more than the simplistic shorthand that labels it the gay cowboy movie. In some ways, this is really a very traditional movie love story with the two leads deeply connected for life, but kept apart by forces that are really beyond their control.
This is a one-shot thing we got going on here.
It's nobody's business but ours.
You know I ain't queer.
Me neither.
It's difficult for any actor in any role this year to top Philip Seymour Hoffman's amazing performance in my number 6 film, Capote. He inhabits the famous writer's persona, from the bizarre little cartoon voice to the sartorial flourishes to Capote's brutally sharp sense of humor. In one of the many outstanding supporting performances in the film, Chris Cooper plays the Kansas lawman who regards Capote as a curiosity who's like from another world.
Yeah, I've decided on a title for my book. I think you'll like it. It's very masculine. It's in cold blood. Isn't that good?
And that refers to the crime or the fact that you're still talking to the criminals?
This isn't just an art house one-man show. It's a stark, spare, haunting examination of some brutal crimes and how one gifted writer capitalized on those crimes and exploited everyone involved to create one of the most famous and one of the most influential books of the 20th century.
As we talk about all of these films, I'm inspired to think that 2005 was a very good year for movies.
Yeah, it's always so lazy, I think, when critics say it was a bad year for movies. It's like going into a bookstore and saying it was a bad year for books. There are plenty of good films.
Lots of good films. Coming up next week, Climb, We Climb. As Richard and I name the best films of 2005.
Ebert and Roeper's Best of 2005 is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
Yes, Mr. Puppy, there is so much to discover. Like Beneful Healthy Growth for puppies, with crunchy rice, real chicken, and real milk, even vitamin-rich vegetables. There's extra protein for those growing muscles, and calcium for developing healthy bones and teeth. You just think you're getting spoiled. Life is good. Very good.
Beneful Healthy Growth for puppies. Another healthful, flavorful Beneful.
Crush on you, my sweetie pie.
When you've got Michael Bublé doing your flirting for you, you're in a good place. Get this Grammy nominee's new Hallmark CD, just $7.95 when you buy 3 cards. Only at today's Hallmark.
How much are you paying for internet service? $21? $23? Aren't you being charged too much? We think so. With People PC Online, you get unlimited internet access for only $10.95 a month. Go to peoplepc.com now to try us free for 30 days and compare us with your current ISP. With People PC Online, you get internet service for less than half of what the big guys cost. And that's just the beginning. You also get more local access numbers than AOL, plus a smart dialer that automatically chooses the fastest, most reliable number. So you always get the best connection. All for just $10.95 a month. Try People PC Online free for 30 days and see for yourself. Go to peoplepc.com for a quick 3-minute download of our easy-to-use software. Or call 1-800-748-5953. People PC Online, a better way to internet.
We're counting down the best movies of 2005, and at number 5 on my list is 9 Lives. This movie kind of draws a blank when I mention it to people, but trust me and trust Roger, if you respect insightful writing and you admire honest acting, you'll really appreciate this film.
I'm tired, honey.
At number 4, Steven Spielberg's tense and controversial political thriller Munich. Eric Bana gives a star-making performance as the leader of a team of Israeli assassins who are avenging the 1972 kidnappings and killings at the Munich Olympic Games.
We're here to kill the guy who planned Munich. Am I right?
It's strange, isn't it, to think of oneself as an assassin?
Think of yourself as something else, then.
Munich is a mirror to the tumultuous world of the 70s and really the tumultuous world of today.
Number 5 on my list, another agreement with Richard, Brokeback Mountain, and I think one of the key elements of this film is how it shows that in 1963 their society has taught these two young men to hate themselves and deny their own true feelings.
What are we gonna do now?
No doubt there's nothing we can do. So I'm stuck with what I got here.
Number 4, a great movie named Junebug about the way families work. It's a comedy, and it's also more than that. Beth Davids is a Chicago art dealer taken by her husband, Alessandro Nivola, to meet his North Carolina family, where the domineering mother has created a shy father, a zombified brother, and the only sane member of the household, Amy Adams, is the pregnant daughter-in-law.
How can every line at the hospital be busy? What if we had an emergency?
Hey, it's all right. It's fun. It's fun. Just think after all of this, I get to bring home a baby, too.
Oh, damn it.
Oh,
Come on,
it's
let's
better
go.
than Christmas.
Let's go, Ashley. Come on, get up.
There are a lot of movies about troubled homecomings, but few with this much truth and human comedy.
Yeah, there is a lot of truth in this film, and why do I get the feeling you've been talking a lot about Junebug, that a certain critic, certain overlooked film festival might be celebrating that movie in the next couple of months? Is that possible?
I wouldn't bet against it.
It's one of the great things about recapping some of these films. Obviously, people know about King Kong, but it's great to remind them about films like 9 Lives and Junebug.
Junebug, yes it is. Coming up next, Richard and I continue our list of the best films of 2005.
Monday, Bob's loving wife.
Where is he?
Bob's secret ex.
Squishy's with one of the label execs.
Squishy?
We used to date.
And Bob.
Hello, Squishy.
When a hottie from the past returns.
I need him back.
We need to talk.
A Sorelli needs the support of her sisters.
She's beautiful. She's skinny. I am fat and pregnant.
You're only fat because you're pregnant. And you're not fat.
A fresh related.
Monday at 9 on WB22.
To introduce Papa John's new Sweet Treat desserts, buy a large Papa John's 2-topping pizza for $11.99 and choose a Sweet Treat dessert free. Try our new Cinnamon Swirl, Berry Berry, or Apple Twist free when you buy any large Papa John's 2-topping pizza.
Attention shoppers, there's a Toyota Camry parked in a tow-away zone.
Now get $750 cash back on the 06 Camry LE. Or lease the 06 Camry LE for $259 a month for 48 months with $1258 due at signing. Toyota, moving forward.
To introduce Papa John's new Sweet Treat desserts, buy a large Papa John's 2-topping pizza for $11.99 and choose a Sweet Treat dessert free. Try our new Cinnamon Swirl, Berry Berry, or Apple Twist free when you buy any large Papa John's 2-topping pizza.
We are ranking the top films of 2005, and at number 3 on my list, Steven Spielberg's Munich, a thriller about a secret Israeli revenge team, is also on your list. As the head of the team, Eric Bana begins to wonder if his country in finding revenge is losing its traditional principles. Spielberg is arguing, I think, for a break in the endless loop of attack and counterattack. It works as a thriller, and it has a heartfelt message.
You do any terrifying thing you're asked to do, but you have to do it running. You think you can outrun your fears, your doubts. The only thing that really scares you guys is stillness.
Number 2, Stephen Gagan's Syriana, a thriller about oil, money, and politics. America and China play a chess game for oil rights, using trading companies as pawns in a world where superpowers are prepared to do whatever is necessary to protect their oil supplies. This isn't the kind of plot you're supposed to follow, but the kind you are surrounded by, because nobody understands the entire picture. One of the best speeches in the film is a defense of corruption.
We have laws against it precisely so we can get away with it. Corruption is our protection. Corruption keeps us safe and warm. Corruption is why you and I are prancing around in here instead of fighting over scraps of meat out in the street. Corruption is why we win.
This is a story where you react to ever-changing circumstances with your own best move.
Now, my pick for the third best film of the year is Crash, a provocative, unsettling, and brutally frank look at race relations in 21st century America. Writer-director Paul Haggis has created a series of overlapping storylines that play out over a 24-hour period. In the single best scene of Sandra Bullock's career, she plays a DA's wife who unleashes some ugly stereotyping after being carjacked.
I just had a gun pointed in my face.
You lower your voice.
And it was my fault because I knew it was going to happen. But if a white person sees two black men walking towards her and she turns and walks in the other direction, she's a racist, right? Well, I got scared and I didn't say anything, and 10 seconds later, I had a gun in my face.
The most romantic and the most elegant film of the year is my number 2 selection, The New World. We change presidents more frequently than Terrence Malick makes films, but you know what? It's always worth the wait. Whether he's filming scenes of quiet romantic discovery between Captain John Smith and Pocahontas, or staging elaborate set pieces in Virginia and in England, Malick envelops us in the world of the early 17th century.
At the moment I was to die, she threw herself upon me.
It takes great confidence in your material to spotlight a major star like Colin Farrell and then have him disappear from the story for a large chunk of time. But that's when we realize The New World isn't about the settlers, it's about the Native Americans, in particular, Pocahontas. The New World is the best historical epic romance since Titanic.
It is a beautiful, poetic, important, lovely, classic, great film. It's kind of tied for 11th place on my list, but you know, a lot of these movies, there's so many good movies this year. If my top 10 hadn't been made, I'd have a top 10 I'd be very, very proud of.
Yeah, I think even if we did a special about the 11th through 20th best films of the year, they were all films that got 2 very big or very enthusiastic thumbs up from us, not mild recommendations.
Why don't we do that?
We might have to do it one year.
Okay, coming up next, our picks for the very best movie of 2005.
Finally, we're using my credit card miles. They couldn't black us out forever.
But Dad, it's summer.
What are you, a weatherman? All right, who's up for a little double diamond? Last one down's a coward. I'm okay.
They need a Capital One card.
For easy-to-use rewards, get Capital One no-hassle rewards with no blackouts on any airline anytime.
Kids, look at
What's in your wallet?
Hi, Jay Bush and our family chili expert, Cousin Drew, for Bush's home-style chili.
Drew slow cooks his chili with premium ground beef. He dices red ripe tomatoes, and he adds just the right seasoning. It's quality you can see and taste.
So how do you like working out of your home, Drew? Oh, it's great. Are those pajama bottoms?
Hey, it's Casual Friday.
Bush's home-style chili, now in a handy family-sized jar. Looks like homemade, tastes like homemade.
If you decide to quit smoking, you're not alone. Quitting is hard, but millions of people have succeeded. To help you find your own way, get a free copy of the Quit Assist Resource Guide. It points the way to expert quitting information, websites, guides, quit lines, what has worked for others, and more. It could help you find your own path to success. Quit Assist, a free resource from Philip Morris USA. Call or log on.
Now we come to the moment where we each announce our pick for the top film of 2005. And my choice of the year's best movie, you just mentioned it, is Crash. And I think this is a film that might actually have had the effect of making the world a little bit of a better place to live. It shows how racism is not a simple matter of good and evil, although it is that, but a shifting and complex process affecting everyone, of every race, in which one day you may be the victim and another day you may be creating a victim. In one episode, Matt Dillon sexually molests the wife of a man he stops for a traffic violation. Tandy Newton feels violated, and her husband, Terrence Howard, feels powerless.
You need to calm down right now.
No, what I need is a husband who will not just stand there while I am being molested.
I mean, they were cops, for God's sakes. They had guns. You know what, maybe I should have let them arrest your ass. I mean, sooner or later, you gotta find out what it is really like to be black.
Dillon has his own feelings of powerlessness as he cannot get help for his dying father from a bureaucrat at the HMO.
What does my father do about sleeping tonight?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I want to talk to your supervisor.
I am my supervisor.
Yeah, what is your name?
Shaniqua Johnson.
Shaniqua, big surprise that is.
Oh.
That's Loretta Devine, very good as the clerk. Later in the film, there's deep irony the next time that Dillon crosses paths with the Tandy Newton character. The movie was written and directed by Paul Haggis, who wrote $1 Million Baby. It shows that in an America of many different ethnic groups, racism has become a subtle process that doesn't work from the top down, although it does, but it also works by going around and around. And it argues that to understand each other better would be to empathize with each other more.
It's a very courageous film. You know, there are some people who say that minorities can't be racist because to be racist you have to be in the position of power and oppressing other groups. But I don't agree with that. And for example, you have the Don Cheadle character who is obviously, his character has experienced a lot of racism and tokenism in his own job, and yet he's got opinions about other ethnic groups that he, spouts out to his girlfriend, where you go, man, you think if anybody would have learned not to do that kind of stereotyping, his character would have.
Yeah, he doesn't really care where in the Caribbean she's really from.
Yeah, I mean, he does the same kind of things that,
says,
that he's been offended by. Now, my selection for the best film of 2005 is Syriana, which was your number 2 pick. And yes, this film is confusing, and yes, it requires intense viewer concentration as you try to keep up with overlapping, again, interconnecting stories set in multiple locales.
So what are they thinking? Great. They're thinking, keep playing, keep buying yourself new toys, keep spending $50,000 a night on your hotel room, but don't invest in your infrastructure, don't build a real economy, so that when you finally wake up, they will have sucked you dry, and you will have squandered the greatest natural resource in history.
I think George Clooney should merit serious Oscar consideration for his work as Bob Barnes, a world-weary CIA agent who has never questioned his government until now.
Were you aware they were involved in the illegal arms trade?
Of course I was aware. That's why I went.
Were you aware these 2 men were Iranian intelligence officers?
What do you think?
The genius of Syriana is that it makes the viewer a participant in this jigsaw puzzle. Gagan deliberately has us scrambling to keep up with the action to the point where we have this kind of visceral connection to the central characters. We feel their confusion and their frustration and eventually their outrage at the ways of the world. This is complex, it's uncompromising. I think it might be the most powerful film so far this decade.
You know, when you talk about Syriana and Crash and 9 Lives and Me and You and Everybody We Know, they all have the interlocking story motif, and that was kind of the sort of film that came into its own this year, where people's lives touch each other in unexpected ways, and that became a very fascinating style that directors began to be attracted to.
And when done well, as it is in these films, it's thrilling to experience. I think a lot of these filmmakers have to have been influenced by Robert Altman, whose films of the 70s did a lot of this. And the writing, to me, is reminiscent of writers like Raymond Carver, who do these short stories that are just perfect little pieces of prose. So there's such strong writing and such big ideas executed in such a fine fashion in very different films
there was really some artistic progress this year, some growth and development.
Absolutely.
Coming up next, we'll review our complete list of the best films of 2005 and tell you which films are already available on DVD.
What's that?
This? Smart Start Healthy Heart.
Healthy Heart?
Yeah. It contains ingredients that can help lower both blood pressure and cholesterol as part of a healthy lifestyle.
Cool.
It's a cereal that helps take care of my heart. You see, I want to be around forever.
Great.
The only one with ingredients that can help lower both. Kellogg's Smart Start Healthy Heart. Do more.
This is what an asthma attack sounds like. At the American Lung Association, we know that millions of people who think they have their asthma under control have a good chance of having a serious attack. If you have asthma, please take the asthma control test. 5 simple questions. Go to asthmacontrol.com or call. Share your results with your doctor. The Asthma Control Test. It can help you better control your asthma before it controls you.
Would you like to lower your mortgage payments up to 35%?
I could reduce my monthly payments? Tell me how.
Introducing Smart Choice, the home loan exclusively from Quicken Loans. Whether you're buying a new home or refinancing, Smart Choice is the answer. Here's an example. A traditional 30-year loan for $200,000 at 7% interest would be $1,330 a month. But with Smart Choice, that same loan would be an amazingly low $850 a month. That's a difference of over $5,700 a year.
That's good news. So what are we waiting for?
Call toll-free now and see how you can lower your monthly payments up to 35%. The Smart Choice Loan. It's great for refinancing or for purchasing that new home. You get monthly payment flexibility, so you can decide to pay just interest or make payments to principal whenever you want. Call this toll-free number now or go to quickenloans.com to get started and lower your mortgage payments up to 35%. But don't wait. Take advantage today while rates are still low.
Now, our complete lists of the best films of 2005. At number 10 on my list, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Number 9, Walk the Line. Number 8, A History of Violence. At 7, Brokeback Mountain. Number 6, Capote. Number 5, 9 Lives. Number 4, Munich. At number 3, Crash. At number 2, The New World. And at number 1, Syriana.
At number 10 on my list is Millions. Number 9, Yes. 8, King Kong. 7, 9 Lives. 6, Me and You and Everyone We Know. 5, Brokeback Mountain. 4, Junebug. 3, Munich. 2, Syriana. Number 1, Crash.
And here's great news. Many of these movies are already available on DVD, including Crash, Yes, Millions, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and Me and You and Everyone We Know.
So start renting. We'll be back next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Net Zero rockets through the internet with breathtaking speed. Half the price of AOL with greater customer satisfaction. Net Zero high speed, fast internet connections for less.
How do I deal with the pain of diabetes testing? I switched to Freestyle Flash, which uses the smallest drop of blood and is virtually pain-free. That I can deal with.
Freestyle Flash, virtually pain-free.
I've been there and playing and stuff, and that was the funnest place ever.
Kissimmee, make more dreams come true.
Big water slides. It goes.
Your Good Neighbor Pharmacist is committed to your care. Speak to a Good Neighbor Pharmacist about the new Medicare Part D plan and the enrollment process. Call or log in to mygnp.com.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is brought to you by...
People all over America are discovering Lunesta. More information can be found on lunesta.com or by calling 1-800-LUNESTA.
How much are you paying for internet service?